The infrastructure programs are aimed at assisting the irrigation sector to improve its overall efficiency. Water savings from these investments are partly retained by the sector and partly shared with the taxpayer by being returned to the environment. The funding includes resources to assist irrigation districts to plan their future configurations and involvement in these kinds of programs. There's a lot of money earmarked for these infrastructure projects. The architecture of the program is complex, but 3.7 billion of resources is in what are called state priority projects, which are the projects which the Commonwealth has agreed to assist the states to manage. And there are a range of other initiatives which the Commonwealth is running by itself. And just a couple of examples of these projects. We have an on-farm irrigation efficiency program rolling out right now, which is active in quite a number of the key irrigation districts, and that was successfully conducted, I guess, in our perspective, and we're running another round of that right now. And we have a private irrigation program which is also rolling out at the moment in New South Wales and will be putting very substantial resources into the modernisation of these key districts. And, you know, I guess this is one way of trying to bolster confidence and in the irrigation sector as such an important part of our agricultural economy, and government has earmarked very large amounts of money for that purpose. Other elements of the policy reforms are around market opening. I mentioned before how important the water markets had been in helping survive the great drought. Many farmers were able to gain alternative income by the sale of their water assets, and other farmers were able to acquire enough water to get a viable crop through that drought. The objectives of our market opening reforms are around transparency, so that the market is operating in a very clear and open way, through consistency across the different states and districts in terms of basic market rules. And there are features in these reforms, for example, the recent introduction of termination fee rules, which mean that anybody selling out of a district can be required to pay up to 10 times the annual access fee as an exit cost, and that in part helps that district deal with the so-called Swiss cheese problems that the market can create. We're also working up a common registry system, which will mean that, as with the land title system, there's a much more sophisticated way of recording and tracking transactions in the market. Another important body of reform is around water information and the government's attempt to equip the Bureau of Meteorology with the same capacity to manage and disseminate and report on water data and water availability and water futures and water forecasts as it does for the weather in general. And the BOM was seen as the most appropriate organisation to carry this very important work forward, and that work has already started to bear fruit. I'll skip over these because Peter Gooday has really talked about this already, about the potential impact of the Basin Plan with and without the government's program investments, and that's all set out in this slide, which will be available to you, I'm sure, as a summary. And that assumes, of course, that the Basin Plan is that's just working on the assumption of the guide numbers, and these numbers will change a lot depending on what the final outcome of the Basin Plan is, and what the final outcome of where we end up, where the infrastructure money ends up going, and this kind of thing. This picture is just to make the simple point that under any scenario, the overall basin economy continues to grow, and continues to grow substantially as mentioned before. The issues are around how that growth is potentially impacted. I don't want this slide to be misinterpreted. I'm not in any way trying to downplay the potential significance at the local level of the changes that could occur in the most irrigation-dependent communities. This is just putting an aggregate message regarding the basin as a whole. The government has formed the view, and the Parliament has formed the view in enacting the Water Act, that to ensure the sustainable use of water into the future, there will be new limits on water use in the basin, that these limits have to be derived by the authority in a way that optimises social, economic and environmental considerations. The government's endeavouring to assist communities to adjust to these changes in several ways that I've been talking about, through the buyback of entitlement, which will have the effect of bridging the gap and protecting the entitlement holders that are still active in irrigation. The investments to improve the efficiency of water use in the irrigation sector. I passed over the assistance we're trying to provide to local governments to improve local water security at that level, our market opening reforms, and our water information reforms. So that is all I wanted to cover. Thank you.